Some stories are just stories, campfire tales, whispers in the dark. But some stories have teeth. They dig deep, feeding on something old and hungry. The story of Room 404 at the Grand Hotel Blackwood is one of those. It's a legend that refuses to die, a ghost that haunts the halls of memory and rumor. They say the room doesn't exist anymore, bricked up, sealed away, erased from the hotel's floor plan. But the stories persist. People go in and never come out, not checked out, vanished. The legend began with disappearances, a salesman in the 30s, a honeymooning couple in the 50s, a lone traveler in the 70s, each tale a thread in a chilling tapestry. Management denies everything, offering logical explanations, but the whispers never stop. They say the room is a gateway, a place where the walls are thin, where our world touches something cold and vast. 404, error, not found, a digital ghost before computers even existed. The details are hazy, lost to time and the hotel's efforts to scrub its history clean, but fragments remain. A diary found in an adjacent room, its final entry a frantic scrawl about scratching from the other side of the wall, a maid's testimony decades later about a cold spot in the hallway, a smell like old pennies and rotting flowers. These puzzle pieces keep the legend breathing. Room 404 became more than a room. It became a concept, a boogeyman for the hotel industry. But at the Grand Hotel Blackwood, it's not just a tale, it's a presence. A silence louder than any scream. A blank space on a floor plan that holds more terror than any occupied suite. The hotel tried to forget, renovated, rebranded, painted over the cracks, but you can't paint over a memory. You can't renovate a ghost. The whisper of Room 404 is part of the building's foundation, a permanent stain on its soul. Guests still talk, in hushed voices, about the floor where the room once was. Staff hurry past the cold spot, never lingering. The legend endures, feeding on fear and curiosity. Some say the room is waiting, patient and hungry. Some say it's just a story, but everyone agrees. You don't ask for Room 404, and if you hear scratching from behind the wall, don't answer. The Grand Hotel Blackwood stands on a lonely coastline, a Victorian relic of dark wood and faded velvet. Its paint peels, gardens overgrown, but it refuses to crumble. Inside, the air is thick with dust, lemon polish, and something older. The grand lobby is a cavern of shadows, the chandelier above like a dead spider. The carpets are worn, the wood scarred by decades of guests. The hotel is tired, sighing under the weight of its own history. The fourth floor is different, colder, quieter. The lights flicker more often. Staff clean around the dead space, hurrying past the cold spot where 404 once was. The fourth floor should be the hotel's heart, but it feels like a tomb. My name is Julian Croft. I'm a writer, at least I used to be. I chased ghost stories, hungry for the one that was real. Room 404 was the Everest of haunted places. My brother Leo, a journalist, first told me about the Blackwood. He became obsessed, said the room wasn't gone, just hidden. That was the last time I spoke to him. He vanished. The police said he moved on. I knew better. He found Room 404, and it found him. So I came to the Grand Hotel Blackwood, notebook in hand, a weight in my chest. I booked Room 403 as close as I could get. The clerk gave me a look, part pity, part warning. I walked the halls, read old records, pieced together the hotel's fragmented history. I told myself I was doing it for Leo, but the hotel was getting under my skin. The story was becoming my story. I wasn't just investigating the mystery, I was becoming part of it. The hunger that drove my brother was now driving me. I was heading for the same dark unknown place. The first days were quiet. The hotel seemed to watch me, waiting. The strangeness began with sounds, footsteps in the hallway at night, but the corridor was always empty. Then whispers, like dry leaves, too faint to understand, coming from the vents or walls. I told myself it was the wind, the pipes, the hotel groaning. But the incidents escalated. One afternoon, I found the TV on, hissing static. I'd turned it off before leaving. A book I'd been reading lay open on the floor, to a chapter about architectural anomalies. Coincidence, I told myself, but the feeling of being watched grew stronger. The strangest event came on the fifth night. I woke to tapping from the wall my room shared with the space where 404 should be. Slow, deliberate, tap, 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 a pause, tap, 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 Morse code, SOS. I froze, heart pounding, listening to the desperate plea tapping through the wall. Was I dreaming? Was the hotel making me imagine things? Maybe it was plumbing? Maybe another guest? But I knew that was a lie. The sound was too clear, too intentional. The hotel was talking to me, or something in the hotel was. It was no longer just a building, it was a vessel. Something was trapped inside in the dead space of room 404, and it was calling for help. Or it was calling for me. I wasn't sure which was worse. The next morning I felt like I was losing my mind. The pressure at the back of my neck, the chill, never left. I tried to rationalize, but the evidence was mounting. The hotel was alive, and I was part of its story now. I started to dread the nights, but I couldn't leave. The hotel's smells bypassed reason, going straight for the animal part of the brain. On the fourth floor, sudden scents would hit, ozone like after lightning, then vanish. Worse was the smell of old pennies and rotting flowers, creeping under my door, lingering for hours. The temperature would drop, a pocket of biting cold by the shared wall, my breath fogging in the air. The wallpaper felt damp, the carpet seemed to grab at my feet, the doorknobs slick with unseen condensation. Every sense was under assault. The hotel was no longer passive, it was wearing me down, stripping away my skepticism. And it was working. The whispers grew bolder, no longer rustles but words, my words. I muttered, "This is impossible." The wall echoed, "Impossible." My own voice, but wrong. The phone rang at witching hour, always static, sometimes a woman crying, a man shouting, a music box playing off-key. Once the running water in the bathroom gurgled, "Let me out." I slammed the faucet off, heart racing. These weren't random noises, this was communication. The hotel, or something in it, was using sound to isolate me, to erode my confidence. It twisted familiar things into instruments of fear. It was breaking me down piece by piece. I knew I was getting closer to the silence behind the wall. I tried to talk to the staff. Arthur, the old bellhop, just said, "Some doors are best left unopened. This hotel remembers." The maids avoided the topic, crossing themselves, whispering, "We don't talk about that floor, you can still hear them, the ones who didn't leave." Other guests dismissed the stories, but later one warned me, "Don't go looking for things, the fourth floor changes people." These warnings only fueled my obsession. They confirmed I wasn't crazy. Others felt it too, but they chose to look away, to coexist with the darkness. I couldn't do that. I had to know what happened to my brother. Every warning was another signpost, pointing me toward the wall in my room, toward the silence on the other side, toward the door of room 404. I was past the point of turning back. The hotel's secrets were now my own, and I was ready to face them. My 10th night. A storm raged outside, the power flickered, plunging the hotel into darkness. The tapping on the wall was frantic, SOS, over and over. I snapped. I tore at the wallpaper, found the faint outline of a door frame. I hammered at the plaster, revealing a door, no handle, no keyhole, just wood. The tapping stopped. Silence pressed in. I pushed. Nothing. Then, in the darkness, a metallic click, the sound of a lock disengaging. A faint, sickly light appeared at the bottom of the door, the air filled with the smell of dead flowers and ozone. The door creaked open, slowly, silently, inviting me in. I stood on the threshold of the impossible, staring into the darkness of room 404. My heart pounded, my mind screamed to run, but I stepped forward and the door closed behind me. What did I see? That part has no words. It was a cold that was an absence of everything. A darkness that was a presence, hungry, breathing. I felt myself unmade, memories pulled apart. Maybe the hotel broke me, maybe my grief and obsession created a waking nightmare. Or maybe the room is real, a tear in reality, a place that collects people, souls. I saw impossible things, faces of those who came before, my brother among them. I didn't escape, I was released, thrown back into the hallway. A maid found me the next morning, the wall was smooth, the wallpaper pristine, my journal was gone. Management said I'd suffered a breakdown. They checked me out, wished me well, I never went back. But sometimes in the dead of night I smell rotten flowers. The mystery of room 404 isn't unsolved, it's just waiting for its next guest. The door is always unlocked.